Hello, hello. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. I am going to explain shortly what we're going to do. We're going to make a card using Mom's Kitchen stamp set tonight. This one here. There are so many amazing elements in this that I just struggled a little bit to decide which ones to use. So I think I'm going to go with Mom Cooking in the Kitchen. I have no experience with that, but you know, hey, I can always make them into cards. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me see. When you pop in, say hello. We'd love to know you're here. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Evelyn. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of fussy cutting tonight. We are going to do our little bear in texture. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Cheryl. So if you want to hang out and see, we're going to build some texture with a couple of different techniques on our Momma Bear. So it's going to be a fun night, a little bit different stuff than I usually do. But I'm very excited about it. I don't have a plan. This is just going to be a craft along. I haven't decided exactly everything I'm doing just yet. I probably should have prepped my stamp before I stamped it. I did not do that, so it didn't stamp quite right. But that's the amazing part about having two sides to your paper, because if you stamp it and it doesn't do what you want it to do, you can always flip it over. So yay, that's what we're gonna do. I'm good. I'm still pretty darn tired, but other than that, I'm doing very well. Prepping for all the new things that are coming up. We have a release coming up. I am going to be teaching a class at the Broke Bank event. And so I will be teaching at that. So if you haven't heard from that, I will be posting links to that here real soon, probably tomorrow. And I will be teaching, and I'm going to use a product that's in our digital stamp set, and it's hi Rosie, and it's going to be one of the free downloads so that everyone can participate with me. So make sure that you're on the lookout for that. I will tell you in advance. You can print it out, play along with me. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm going to do masking in that one, so that'll be fun. Yeah, so we're going to have a good time. So I have that coming up, and then in August, I have the Paper Escape with Olo coming up. So I'll be posting some about that coming up real soon. We have a new release coming. Yeah, so lots of cool things happening at Doux Designs. I'm a little picky on how my stamps go back on my set, so I'm not going to put it away though, because we're going to use a sentiment from the set. I just don't know which one yet, but we'll worry about that when we get there. We don't have to worry about that right now. We are completely able to do whatever we want. Whatever we want. Whatever we want. So tonight I am going to use Copics because it's what I have out next to my desk. So we have that. That's for what I'm planning for tonight. I mean, yes, I have Olos out as well, but not the colors I specifically need for what I'm working on. I haven't decided on the paper yet either, so I'm not real sure at this point which one I'm going to go with, but I probably should at least look so I can decide if I think what color, I feel like I want to do. I kind of was thinking either this background, because, you know, we can put these on the shelves, or I was also thinking potentially this background, because this will put the mom in the kitchen. I think probably this one. This is what I'm really feeling right now. So I think we'll use that paper. So we're going to want to select colors that either contrast or coordinate. So we're going to try that. We'll see where we go from there. But at least I'll have my colors out. So there's some reddish colors in the background. You like the island, the big island on this one? I do too. So she'll fit perfectly in there. We won't be able to see all of it because we have to cut it down to card shape, but we do have some blues and we do have some reds and yellows in this. We have a little bit of purple and some green. So definitely some variety of colors. So I don't have to be too particular. So I think I'm going to start. I also pulled this out. This is just like a little sample pack. It's one of the ones we got for free at the retreat that I had recently. It's like a terry cloth. And then this one is woven. So it's like burlap. And this one's like jeans. And we're not going to use the jeans tonight. Not like jeans. I think it is jeans. But, and I don't think we're going to use the burlap. We might use it for the flower, but we're going to use this little texture to give us some texture on our bear. So we're definitely going to do that. So that'll be pretty fun. If you've never seen that before, it's a really neat technique that we're going to use. I think I need another color for my little bear's face. I like to do it a little bit different. That's kind of how I roll. Hello, Meg. Happy to see you here. Hope all is well. Gonna go ahead and get started because, like I said, we do have to cut these out. So I want to make sure that I have enough time to do everything. Also, in case you guys don't know, I'm going to go ahead and do just the little round part of her face. But in case you guys don't know, I have been joining in on the Happy Crafty Ho-Ho events that they have at the Late Night Crew. So if you love these videos and you'd like to hang out with me a little bit more, you can usually find me hanging out over there. I made 4 cards last night with them. It was super fun. There's a lot of little banter going back and forth, and we giggle a lot and we laugh a lot. So, you should come over there and join us. Happy is spelled Happie, Happy Crafty Ho-Ho. So you might want to write that down if you want to come join us. You could join her page and click notifications. It'll tell you when she goes active. I won't be there every night, but I will be there sometimes. So if you're missing me between the Tuesday and Thursday to Tuesday, that's where you can find me usually. It's a lot of fun. I have a few people from here already that join us over there, and it's really fun. I don't know why it wants to focus on my hand and not on the paper, but it does that to me sometimes, and it's so funny. This little bear is so cute. This is going to be a Mother's Day card, I believe, tonight. We're going to, because we kind of built this release on Mother's and Father's Day. Sort of like great, unique cards for Mom and Dad's Day, but different than what you traditionally see for Mom and Dad's. So it's too late for me. Oh, it's too late. The show is too late. Well, they're starting to go a little bit earlier, Meg. So, they're kind of altering the schedule a little bit. So check that out and see if it's still too late for you. So I'm using the E family. I'm using the E79. I'm going to make her a little bit quite brownish since I want to use that texturizing. So I'm going to make it a little darker than I normally would. So I'm using E79, 77, 74, and 71 for our little bear tonight. I'm going to put some shadow up underneath her little scarf. We're also going to build some texture with the white gel pen and such on her little scarf, because I think that's really fun and it'll be really cute. So we're going to definitely do that. So a few options tonight that are going to be a little different than the traditional bear colors and clothing colors. So going to be adding a little bit of extra to them. She's got a little bit of her neck showing right here, so we're going to just get a little bit of the dark color in there. And then there's not really a lot. The rest is her clothes. So I'm going to just do a little bit of curve in here. So I'm not a huge fan of square when you're doing a live character. Not that my bear's alive, but you know what I mean. Oh, you're welcome for the info. No problem. All right, let's see. We also have next E77. These two colors are really dark, 79 and 77, but they get they'll get much lighter with the next couple of coats. And you'll see why I went with the darker bear once we start doing the little technique to give her texture. So I'm going to use, kind of like I did with the pigs, a little bit of an indent right here to make her cheeks big, because I think she just looks so happy. I want her to look really happy. So I'm going to add just a little bit of that on the side. Kind of give it a little bit of a shape. Just a little bit dark up underneath her hat. And I'll be using the next color as more of my true color, so I'll use a lot more of that one. It'll be significantly lighter, so that's the reason I'm choosing the other color as my true color. How's everyone else doing? Are you guys having fun? Anybody crafting, making stuff? Have you gotten your stamps? Are you coloring along? That's a lot of questions. Tell me about you. I should have got Dale out here before I said that, so I wouldn't be looking down at the image, but I will do my best to catch your comments. If I miss a comment and you really ask a question or need an answer, feel free to ask again. I missed it. I try not to, but it happens. So can you see how much lighter this color is than the last two colors? That's why I didn't do quite as much with the other two colors, because I really wanted to blend this out from a dark shade to a much lighter shade. There's always this little line that you can see when you're coloring. I call that working the line. Just go over it again until you start to get that line to fade, and then you won't have to worry about that so much anymore. So I'm going to go over this one more time with my marker just to kind of soften that up a bit. I'm going to build in a little bit of dark under her eyes so that I can mold her cheeks into a cute little poofy shape. That's my goal. So that is what I am doing. I could color these bears and pigs like so many times. They're so much fun. I think we might add a little bit of pink in there for her cheeks. So I'm going to leave them uncolored right now. Since I didn't plan this ahead or anything and I'm just winging it, I'm just going to share with you how my mind is thinking through all of it as I go along. So, that's what I'm thinking is I will want to put a little bit of pink on those cheeks. So I'm going to leave them bare until I get to the next, pun intended, I'm going to leave them bare. I told you it was going to be a very good time tonight. I made 60 Mother's Day cards for a Mother's Day luncheon and 100 3D gift bags for candy. Completed those on Saturday. So I've taken a few days break. Wow, Rosie, that's a lot. That is a lot of work. That's amazing. Congratulations on getting that completed. I'm going to color later tonight. Oh, yay. Feel free to always share in the group. It does not have to be an image colored by, it does not have to be an image from Doux Designs. We love to see your Doux Designs images that you color, but if you color anything, you can definitely share it. If you have, we don't really mind affiliate links either, so if you color something and you want to put your affiliate link in there, that is fine too. We don't want to oversaturate the feed with stuff from other companies, but we don't mind at all with you posting anything. So please, please, please share with us what you do. We love to see it. Because not only do we have a business here, but we're also teaching you to color. So we really want to see. Hey, Phyllis, you love the stamp set. Now you're going to have to get it. Evelyn, there you go. That's how it plays out all the time. If you like the mom, the kitchen, the cooking, if you love to cook and stuff, this is an amazing set for you. I am not a cook person. I don't go in the kitchen. I don't do anything in the kitchen. So but I love the elements. I think the elements are so cute, even though I don't ever use them. Ever. Literally in the past 29 years, probably. Dale is a very good cook, and I just let him do it. I want to hear about the Wizard of Oz. It's on my bucket list. Oh, girl, you need to go do that. For sure. If you like the Wizard of Oz, it was amazing. I loved it. I love to watch the Wizard of Oz anyway. I usually catch it every time it's on TV. But to see it at the sphere where it's all around you, there were times when Dale leaned over and said, I feel like I'm in the room with them. And it was so true. I will say that I usually get a little bit of motion sickness from that interactive where you feel like you're in the show or in the movement. I did take Dramamine and it helped a lot. So I was able to really enjoy the show. I don't know, I picked up on more details in the show than I've ever noticed when watching them on TV. Because it's so up close. So it was really neat to see all of the different things that I didn't notice before. And they set up all the areas inside with lots of Oz stuff. So even just getting to the show was amazing. They dropped snow on us when they were in the poppies. They we had wind and the seats move, and I mean, it's a whole experience. I took a lot of pictures and I shared a bunch of them on Facebook so you guys could see how crisp and clear and beautiful the view was. Everything, of course, was black and white, or that more like sepia tone before they went to visit with before they went to Munchkin Land. And that was cool. The only thing I can't speak to is when the tornado was actually happening. They had the whole room moving and you felt like you were being spun around, and I had to close my eyes for that part just because I didn't want it to make me sick. So that's the only part that I paused what I was doing. You know, I paused watching. But they threw apples from the ceiling. They were like spongy apples, and I caught one, which was awesome. And that was really neat. So that felt really special. Hey, Mom, look at how pretty. That is a great combination. Our little bear came out so good. I love it. Here is the apple if you want to see it. See, it's a sponge. But it says The Wizard of Oz at Sphere. So it looks like an apple. Which was fun. I actually caught 2 of them in my lap, and Dale caught one in his lap. So we shared them with the ladies that were sitting next to us, and they were really excited, you know. So we gave some to them so that everybody could get something from the show. We shared. Okay, let's see. What color do we want to make her? Hey, Patsy. From Patsy and Carl. Hey, Carl. Did you guys get some amazing stuff from Whimsy? They won a Whimsy gift card at the retreat, Patsy and Carl. It was so much fun. And I know you just jumped in, Patsy, but we're going to do this technique tonight that we talked about at the retreat. Hey, Meg. Hey, Beth. Okay, I love our little bear. I'm very happy. I think I'm going to go with some blue and red, maybe, to go. This is the background that we're going to use. I think I might make I think she matches pretty good, but stands out just enough that she'll match nicely with this. But there is some red, green, and orange and blue in this down here. So I kind of like that. I think we're going to go with red, but it's not going to be a bright red. Hi, Barbara. Just dropped by to say hi. I'll watch the replay. Tomorrow's the surgery and you're getting ready. Oh, you have to go to bed early. Hey, Christina. So happy to see you. You plan on looking tonight? Oh, yeah. You're going to be so happy. It's so much fun. This flower is a little bit challenging for me to color because I just can't decide what color I want to put in there where you guys will be able to see it. So I think what we're going to do is try E53 and E51. I think that'll be really cool. Plus, I know you guys saw that post probably in the group where I said that we weren't able to meet Vegas Matt because he wasn't in town. But that was not the case. At the last minute, he showed up right before we left for the airport, so I did get to meet him. So I was really excited about that. Farmer Wants a Wife replays and Crafting with Sandy Lindsay. Does it get any better? Does it? Does it get any better than that? Christina, I will also be live at 6 p.m. on Saturday night at the Broke Bank event. So I will be posting more details on that in the group here shortly, probably tomorrow, so people can join. I missed what color you used on her snout, on her little snout. So on her snout, I used E43, E41, and I think I used E40 as well. So, yep. So these three, 43, 41, and 40. And I'm using R20 for her tongue and her ears. So those are the colors I've used so far. And then we used these two for the flower. So 53 and 51. I know it's not generally that color. Flower is usually white, but it just doesn't show up on camera very well if you do it the other way. So that's why I did that. And just FYI, Evelyn, if you watch the replay on YouTube, I put all the color combinations that I used in the video. I write them in the description. So if you ever come across one and you miss it, or it's a replay and you don't see the number, you can always check out the YouTube video and get the color combination. So I always share that information. And yes, good luck, Barbara, tomorrow. Let us know how you're doing. We would love to know that you're okay and that all goes well. I think I'm going to stick with blue for the bowls. So I don't really want to put blue on her body. But I am going to look at using some red, but not bright red. I want to use this, this type of red, which is not a bright fire engine red, but kind of a more dull red. Where is that number I want to use? I think it works well with this. So I'm going to swatch it real quick so you guys can see. Hi, Tammy. So I want to use the R59 and the R56 because it gives me that not so red, almost a little bit darker color, like kind of like a mauve, but with a little more red than mauve. And then the E04 that we sometimes use for the skin kind of works with those two since there's not three in the combination. So we're going to use those. So that's what we're going to use for, I think, for her outfit and her little scarf on her head. I think I'm going to do her apron and her scarf the same color, and maybe even the collar of her dress, and then we'll change her dress to a different color. I think that'll be fun. So I'm going to start off with R59, and I'm going to work on this area right here that's her apron, because I think that'll be really cute. Oh, I should have done the technique before I put all the red in here. So once I get this red on there, we're gonna stop and do the texture technique. That way we can make sure that the red doesn't bleed into the bear with the technique. So I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. The bowl is gonna be blue. I think I've decided on blue. Make it a little darker up here underneath where the bowl is. I definitely want to keep that going. This is a dotted line across here. It's a little hard to see in the stamp, but I'm just going to accentuate that right now so that we can see that. All right, now I like to keep the ink wet while I'm working, but I really want to do this little technique before I do that. So, good night, Barbara. This is just a terry cloth. You can cut it out of like just a washcloth or something. And then this is a small colorless blending solution bottle, so it has exactly what's in the zero marker in it. It's kind of the refill for the zero marker, but if you use it and you just put a little bit on the cloth, kind of get the cloth a little bit wet with the colorless blender, and then just use that area, and you just put it over what you colored. And the longer you leave it there, the more it's going to show texture. But I want her to have just a little bit of texture on her, and I thought it would be easier to do if I did it like this versus, see how she looks kind of fuzzy? Depending on what kind of texture you use, it can change what it looks like. Different textures look a little different. I'm kind of doing it before I color all the other colors. It'll be bright at first, but the colors will kind of blend back in, making it look just a little fuzzy. I'm going to turn it this way because I don't really want to get this in the red. I just want it to be on the little hand. And then I'm going to turn her around and do this hand. This is a little easier than doing a whole bunch of dotting effect on your little bear, but it gives her a little bit of a design. Just trying to put a little bit more in that dark area back there. And then we're going to put a little over her feet. It will move the ink around, so if you're very close to the edge, you could potentially have some bleed out from the edge, but it's not typically going to do that unless you hold it on there for a really long time. So we have to remember now, we put colorless blender all over that area, so we need to give it a second or two for it to dry. Let me see if I take my hands out, if it'll come in clearer. There we go. So there, it's a little bit of texture, but not too much. And I really like that. I don't use that technique very often, but I feel like I should do it more often because it's so cute. So you can imagine how good jeans look when you texturize the jeans. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep going with this red, but I'm on the 56 right now. This is the second color in the combination I chose. It's going to look a little more red. The dull part will come with the E04 that we're going to add here in just a little bit. And I want this to be lighter at the bottom, so I'm just going to do the whole bottom and kind of over top of those dots. And then we'll start brushing up because we only have one more color. We only have 3 colors in our combination. Depending on how much you want the markers to work for you versus you working the markers to get the color combinations, that's how many markers you'll use. So if you really want to work a whole lot less and you have enough space, use more markers. But if you want to make it work with less markers, this is how you do it. Hey, thank you. You like how it looks? I like it too. I think it makes it just easier. I wanted to get a really light coat of this ink underneath the E04 because it's going to change the tone because it's a little bit darker than the red that we're looking at. So in order to do that, you kind of have to go over the whole thing, because if you just go over the part that's white or the part that's left and your tone is different, it's going to look like you used 2 different types of markers and it just won't blend as nicely. So make sure that you go over all of it to bring that color match together. It's almost like an overpainting a little bit. It's also lot more colorless blender in this one. So we have to work this line right here. So I'm going to come back in and do it again just in that area until I start to see it blending together. And then I will stop. But for now, I feel like I need just a tad bit more. And then I'm going to wait and see if it just all goes together. It seems like it's working out really nice right now. So I'm going to stop. I do feel like it's a little darker down here. So I'm just going to put one more coat up here at the top. So it matches. And then we'll work on her scarf. So same thing, we'll just repeat the steps, the R59. So I definitely want these artist drawn lines to stand out a bit. And then wherever it's up close and you have shadow, I would say when you're doing this, don't just do it in a square like that. Like, you want to have some brush strokes come out or it looks funny, you know? So keep that in mind when you're doing this as well. She's gonna look good in this color. I tell you, every time I color her in a different color, I like it even more. And then I'm like, oh, I think this might be my favorite. Oh no, maybe the last one was my favorite. Oh, the next one's my favorite. They're all kind of my favorite. There. So just along the top there. I think we're going to do the collar a little bit lighter, so I'm not going to use this darkest color on there. I'm going to go for the R56 next. Just like that. I did notice when I was at the retreat that people pointed out that I say just like that a lot. You'll probably notice it now that I said it. But I do tend to say that. I don't know why, but it just comes out that way. Just like that. Just like that. Do it just like that. I am working on some really cool stuff for the website for you guys, so be on the lookout for some new things to come in the near future to help with your coloring journey. Here we go. This is E04. This is that one that kind of changes the color. I'll sort of go from the white into the other color. Maybe you can tell. A little hard to tell on camera, but it definitely changes the color. So that worked out good. And that left the neck, this part right here, a little bit lighter than these two parts. So I kind of like that. There we go. That's looking nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. Going over the whole thing because, you know, like we said, we want to make sure we get that tone throughout the whole thing because it definitely changes it. So there we go. We made her scarf a lighter red, a little bit lighter red because we didn't go over it as much. I think in order to tie in the mixer with the whole scene, I'm going to add a little bit of this red on the mixer as well. I like to do that. I like to blend it and bring the scenes together. So I'm going to do this top one a little bit darker than the bottom. So I'm going to use all three colors on the top line, and then I'm only going to use the bottom, the last two colors on the bottom line. So you'll be able to see them back to back, how different they are. And then I'll come in down here and put this lighter color in here. So this is just another way you can use the same colors to get a different look so that you don't have to have quite as many markers. So I'm going to go over this whole thing real quick, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, but it's lighter, so you see a two different tone there. I don't know what color we're going to make the flower bag. I can't decide. Maybe let's use the brown, but not the darkest shade of brown. That way it won't look like the bear necessarily, but it'll still be similar. I think we'll do that. So E77. So I'm going to start with my shadow areas first, and then over here I know this is sitting down, so I'm going to kind of build up these little areas to make it look like it's kind of folded so it sits down nicely. We'll do a few on the sides, and then up here underneath this folded over area. We're going to put some dark under there. Just like that. There I go, just like that. And then we're going to put a little bit of this right along here and a little bit along the back. A little bit, extend our fold a little bit. That way you start to see we're building shape on that versus just coloring it in. And that just comes with experience and watching others do it. So you can learn all of that as well. I'm going to darken in this bottom part and leave a little spot for some highlight. Now we started to build this, so I'm going to extend there. And then we wanted that to be a little bit darker, kind of folded in. So I'm going to play around with that, kind of get that to blend pretty good for me. And the sides, we'll bring that in a bit. And then over here, a little bit there, and then we're just going to extend down from where we put this first color. I think I'll go up a little bit as well, up and down, to get that to come together nicely. There's a little bit of work area right here where we want to kind of make sure that blends. So we're going to work the line a little bit. If you want to see that definition, you can leave it there. But I like to really work that line when it's something like this and get that to come together. But notice how I won't do it down here because I want that to stand out. And a little bit more up here. We only have one more color, so we just need a little bit of highlight on there. So here's the last colors, E71. So we're going to blend out from there, kind of leaving that highlight area on the side of the bag. I'm going to go back and forth right here to leave a highlight area right here around the front of the bag. And then I don't want this to be too dark. I want us to be able to read it. So I'm just going to do this very soft back and forth. Like that. And you can see the line around it, which I'm okay with, but I want to soften it just a little. So I'm going to work just a little bit on that line right there. Still want to be able to see it. I just don't want it to stand out quite as much as it is. So just light touch and playing around with that. And that came out really nice. That's what I was going for. Now we're going to soften this a little bit. Leaving some highlight, some not. Just for technique purposes, since you guys are learning a little bit here. If I wanted it to stand out more along the rim and I had already finished it, I can grab my colorless blender and I can add just a little bit right here. And that will move the ink just enough to give me that line that I'm looking for. So that is another trick. If you made the color too dark and you wanted that to show a little more, you can use the colorless blender to get the effect you're looking for. I bet you didn't know that tonight was going to be a technique learning night. I'm going to mix some colors now that we already have out in order to color the little spatula. Or whatever that is. I don't know. Spatula? Who knows? Is it a spatula? Alright, so I'm going to start with E71. And I'm just going to do a little bit along the inside of this spoon right here. And then under her hand and along that side at the top. And then I'm going to come in with the E43 that we used on her little face. I'm going to go kind of around the outside It's such a small area. It's going to fill most of it in. But I want to kind of brighten up that little spoon. So I'm going to go with E51 just to lighten that spoon and give it a little bit of a more of a tan, vibrant look. So I put that in there. Now I lost a little bit of that definition on the spoon area, so I'm going back in with that E71 to kind of darken that up a little bit more. And I think that'll make it stand out a little bit better. Okay, now what color are we going to make her dress? I don't like to do green so much right now because then it just looks like a Christmas bear, which is not a bad thing, but definitely. So maybe what we'll do is we'll make her dress like a really, really pale yellow green like this. That way it won't really look Christmassy. It'll look a little different. Not that Christmassy is a problem, but that is just not what I was going for. So I think we're going to try. I'm going to actually swatch again just to make sure. Orange. Orange is a good color. But that orange and red, we'll try them both. Let's try them both. This is the green I was thinking. This is YG17. This is YG03. And this is YG21. So in total, it would be really, really light greenish color. Now let's see, if we were going to do orange, let's look at some of the orange colors in here. They're a little bit more dull than orangey orange. So I would probably try to go with something like, let me see what this would do. This is YR15. It's a pretty good color. I might need one darker for that. And then I was going to try 14. Ooh, 14 seems to be a little bit deeper, so we would have to do them in reverse. This would be 14. 15's a little brighter, so we would do that next. And then the last one, I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to try this YR65, but I feel like that's kind of the same color, so I don't really want to use that. But let's try adding a little bit of yellow. See, I think that would be neat. It's YR or Y35. So if we want to use orange, since you like orange, I'll put the green back and we'll go with this orange. Why not, right? Why not? Because we can. So YR14 was the darkest. So I'm going to start on the top of her dress. Oh, this might actually go together really nicely. Good call, Meg. It's not really a traditional color that I would normally pick to go with it, but I kind of like it. Hello, Beth. Underneath the arm, we have to get some there. And then I'm going to go all the way down here and I'm going to do just underneath the apron. All the way across, just like that. Now, because we're adding yellow, I'll be adding yellow to all of it, which is the last step. So this orange will be a little bit thicker around the outside and such. All this will finish being colored in. And then we'll do the mixing and the overpainting with the yellow color that I pulled. We are mixing colors tonight, you guys. Isn't that fun? I love it. So now I'm going to go to the yellow, which is Y35, and it's a little bit of an orangey yellow, so that's why I like to mix it together. But again, when you're changing a tone, you really should go over the orange you already have in there so that it all blends well together. I kind of feel like this yellow really made that little orange outfit pop. I also think it's a good color mix for matching with the background. See, I think we did pretty good. We got that to kind of match. I love that. We need blue for the bowl, and I want it to be, I think we're gonna mix colors again, because why not? I think we're gonna try these, so I'll show you what they look like. What I have in my mind is B97, which is what I usually use for like some jeans, and then B95, and see, that gets a lot lighter. And then I'm going to add in this color that I really like called B52. It kind of has a little bit different tone, but it kind of gives you almost a tiny bit of green in it. So I really like that. I think that's what color we're going to do the bowls. So here we go. Here we go. Who's ready? B97. I'm going to make the top and the bottom of the bowl darker. So I'm going to do it all in with the bottom and most of this top part, because I want that to stay pretty dark. And I'm going to go along the edge with this dark color. And then over here we have this bowl as well. So I'm going to make that all brown, all blue at the bottom. And then I'm going to put my own line across the top so it kind of matches that one. Even though this one doesn't have a line on it, we're going to make our own. And then we're going to use the next color, which is B95. And I'm going to color some of this in with the B95. If we do it lightly, it'll blend but still show two tones. So we definitely want to do that. We'll leave a teeny bit on the bottom one for that last color, which will bring it all together. And then this one, I'm going to go along the bottom, and then I'm going to go along each side, leaving the center area. I want to keep that separate so we are not blending that line. I want it to look like it's a stripe, just like this bowl. And then our last color is B52. I'm going to blend all of this with B52. Notice I'm focusing on the center. I'm trying to push some of that blue color off to the sides so you see a little bit of a lighter color in the middle. And since it has this different color, I'm just going to touch lightly over top of the other color so I can keep it in the same tone. Mix that from that side, and then I'm going to go from this side. And then I'll go just directly over the center part, just kind of mixing that together just a little bit. And then we'll have this cute little bowl there. Now, I think for this machine, I'm going to probably make it silver or gray because I like that. So I'm going to use the N's tonight instead of using the C's or the W's. I'm going to use the N's, and it's N5. I'm going to start with N5. I'm going to keep it a lighter color. So I'm going to go along the bottom because it'll be darker on the bottom. I'm also going to add a little bit of a crease right there. Just because it's a personal preference, not because it's necessary. I love this set, and the paper is fabulous. Your coloring is impeccable. Thank you so much, Kelly. That is so nice of you. And thank you for joining us. I love how you guys are saying hello to everybody. That's so nice. So friendly. Makes me so happy. So I'm going to add just a little bit to the top, both sides. And then this part, I'm going to come this way. I'm going to leave a little bit of the light on the edge for that. But I think all these colors are blending very nicely together and they match up nicely. So I'm pretty happy with our color combos. This one is in 4. So I'm going to start adding some more of that. The lower the number, the lighter the color. So the color is going to start getting lighter and lighter. I thought I was going to use 4, but I think I'm probably going to end up with just 3 colors because this is such a small space. There we go. There we go. Now we need one more. You love it? Thank you. I'm glad you love it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go to N3 and then that's going to be it. Because now I'm going to kind of work back and forth a little bit to fill in that white area. But I feel like it's light enough that it's pretty. I mean, is this the kind of equipment you guys like having in your kitchen? Pretty equipment? Pretty colors? I don't know. I don't have any stuff in my kitchen that's mine. It's all Dale's, and he doesn't care what color it is as long as it works. He's not real picky about that part. There we go. There's a little bit of a line right here, so I'm going to work this just a tad bit more right here. I want to be able to see it, but not quite as stark as it is right now. So there we go. That blended it up just a little bit. All right. Now we have to do a few little things to our little bear before we go and cut them out. So I'm going to redo these eyes with my multi-liner. I'll do one first so you can see the difference on why I do this, but I'm going to go around that big eye. I'm going to go around the little circles. I'll enhance those again with the white gel pen at the end, but for now. And I also want to, since the color's so dark, I'm going to add her little eyelashes back on there, and I may even do the whole outside of her eye just so you can see it. But there you go. There's the difference when you put the color back in. So it was faded a little bit, even though I'm using the black Memento ink. It just doesn't do it justice unless, there you go, unless you can see how much black, the more black the multi-liner is. And I think I'm going to do her nose too, just because I feel like I want it to stand out just a little bit more. But I do this with most images because I think it just makes a huge difference. And it's such a tiny thing to do. And if you accidentally color in the white, you can just come back with like a white gel pen and fix it. And then we're going to do her little eyelashes one more time because we want to be able to see them. So cute. Doesn't it make such a big difference? We're going to do her nose too because I feel like the nose would stand out so much more. And then I'm going to do just a little bit inside the mouth. I'm not going to do the smile. I'm just going to do this so it deepens it up. And then it'll make it look really nice. So I like that. I still feel like our word flower is good enough, so I don't feel like we need to do anything with that. But I'm not going to do the white gel pen yet because we got to cut these little guys out. So I'm going to read comments if you guys have any questions so far while I cut these out. They won't take me that long. I'm pretty good at fussy cutting. I'm pretty fast at it. I do it all the time, so... But I am going to cut them all out so I can put them on our image. On our card. Sometimes, I don't know why I do that, but I have to really feel which direction I'm going to start cutting. And so sometimes I turn the object like a bunch of times before I get started. I don't know why I do that. So funny. The little things we do. The little things we do. So crazy. and try to turn the object you're cutting and not the scissors, because you'll get much straighter, cleaner lines rather than moving the scissors. That is kind of a fussy cut key. Move the object, not the scissors. There we go. So now we have a mixer. And then we have some flour. These are my scissors that have a little notch in them that like stutters when I'm cutting, because I tried to cut something metal with them and I messed up the scissors. And I haven't bought any replacement ones yet, but I need to, because they are really bugging me. You love fussy cutting? I do too. But do you love watching someone fussy cut? That is the ultimate question right now. Do you hate it when someone who's doing a live fussy cuts? I tried to cut mine out before the video, but I didn't get that opportunity tonight because I was working on something else, and before I knew it, it was time to go live. So I didn't get it cut out ahead of time. I know I need new scissors real bad, but I hate placing an order and paying for shipping just for a pair of scissors. So I've been trying to wait to see if I need anything else, you know, before I buy a new pair of scissors. So I've been kind of putting it off, even though I really need a new pair. And I hate when I do that. I knew better than to do that. You should never try to... I want to say I tried to cut something metal or thick or bad. It's relaxing. Hey, Anna. Happy to see you. I bet you're happy to have Kyle home. Man, did they catch some fish. Wow. So for those of you who don't know, Anna is my daughter-in-law, and Kyle went fishing this weekend and caught a ton of fish for them. You love watching fussy cutting? Well, that's great, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'll be done soon, though. Not too much going on here. Sometimes I can do it really fast, but I'm trying to keep that border like perfect around the edges, so I'm going a little slower than I normally go. I usually do pretty quick. I don't think it took too long. We do have to do, I am going to actually use my X-Acto knife on that mixer. I have a teeny tiny little cutting. Have you ever seen this, you guys? It's so cute. Look, it's only this big. It fits in my hand. And I'm going to use it to cut out that white part of the mixer. And I'm pretty quick at that too, so. But I don't like that white part to be in there. That is definitely a pet peeve. It does not have to be cut out if it's your image, but for me, it drives me crazy. So I have to cut it out, and don't laugh, because I'm going to have to cut it out from here too, even though it doesn't really seem like there's enough to cut out there. But there is just a teeny bit. There's just enough. Just barely enough. I know it's crazy. I can't help myself. And then I come back here and I push it all out. And then if I need to trim up, I can trim up with my scissors. Anything that's not straight, like that I did with the X-Acto. There we go. Perfect. See? Now we don't have that little white thing in there, although it does look like this is a little bit thicker than the rest of it, so I'm going to trim that up just a little bit. Usually this goes a little more smooth, but tonight it got a little out of hand. There we go. All right, so now we have the cute little mixer, and that part is open. Where did you get the little cutting pad? I got it at Tall Mouse, at the expo at Tall Mouse, but you can get them on Amazon. I've seen them on there. They're really cute. I've been researching to see if I can find some to bring in the shop because it is one of my favorite tools. And it's so adorable, and it's perfect not to have a great big cutting mat just to do that. You can tell I cut on it a lot. It's got a bunch of marks on it, but I think I have a spare one just in case. Just in case. So these are our little guys. This is the paper I want to use. I think we matched our colors nicely. I'm very happy about that. And then, you know, I always like to do A2 size cards because that's just kind of how I roll. So I'm going to try a few. I kind of like this one. But then I think we need a little bit of color. So we could add a yellow. Not too bad. Or an orange. Again, not too bad. I kind of like the orange. Or we could add a type of blue to kind of bring out the little pan. I have this nice blue right here, which I kind of think the blue would be better than the orange. I think the orange washes out everything, but the blue just kind of brings it home. So I think I'm going to use the blue. And I'll probably use the blue as the background, and this is the base. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that up. I think tonight we're going to cut it with my, we're going to cut the cardstock and stuff with my Creative Memories cutter, because I have all of those blades on the back that change the type of cut that you get. So I can do scallop, Victorian, pinking, wave, decal. I kind of like the decal. Let's try that. I haven't tried that one yet. Let's do that one. So you just take them off and then you switch them out on your trimmer. So this thing lifts up and you take out the blade you had in there. You put the new blade in. And now when it cuts the paper, it's going to cut it with that really neat design on it. So let me zoom out just a tad bit more so you can see. But I need this to be 4 inches. So when I cut the edge, it cuts it like this. So see, I get a little design edge cut. And since we're going to be putting it on the card, we're going to want to cut a little sliver off of each side. So the whole thing kind of looks like that. See, the cut works really well. So I'm just cutting a teeny bit off of the edge. It's really small sliver. Look, you can't even almost pick it up, but it's all you need to cut. Just a teeny bit. So that when we put it on this one, oh, I didn't cut that side down. Oh, good. That'll give us a little bit more room to work with. So I need this one to be 5 1/4, so I can cut it down a little bit more. So that works out really nicely. Perfect. See, then we have a little bit different border than you normally have. Instead of having a regular one, you can just cut it however you want. And then for our kitchen, we'll cut it the same way. I don't know if it'll go quite as easy as that, so we're going to cut it a little bit bigger. But let's place our little bear on there and kind of see where we want it to be before we start cutting. Because we want to place our... I'm going to move this up so you can see. So I kind of want... I can't decide if I want our little bear maybe on this side. Looks like you can see all the equipment behind her that she is working with, the rolling pin and all the stuff. And then we can put our little mixer somewhere. It's not so little, is it? It's kind of big. I like it though. I want to use it, even though it doesn't really go with it. Maybe I'll put it by the sentiment and it'll make sense. And then we'll just put her flower on the table. So we don't want her to have her, look, you can see her bread behind her. So I think that'll be cute. She's got a big bunch of flour, a big bunch of flour. And then we'll put the mixer up at the top, and then we'll put the sentiment off of the mixer. So I think that'll work out. So I'm going to want the image to be on the right-hand side. So I'm going to flip the card around, and I'm going to trim it. Since we did 4, I'm going to do it at 3.75. So there we go. And then I'm going to flip it over and do that tiny, tiny trim off of the edge. So we make sure we keep the same style all the way around. I am really cutting a tiny, tiny sliver, but it's working. And then on this side, I did 5.25. So we're going to cut this one at 5. So we cut the top off and then a smidge off the bottom like we did earlier. It's really a smidge. And then we have this piece. Lots of smidges all over the desk. It's cool. I know you get to change the blade. It's amazing. I love it. And so I buy every time they have a new blade, I buy it. Look at how cool that is. It just changes up the card by giving you a little bit of a different design. And I really like the blue in there. I think the blue kind of makes it look really cool. So let's put this down. Then we have to work on our sentiment. I wonder if I have any of our stickers. I know I used a bunch of them already, but if I have a sticker, that might be really cool. We have stickers in our shop now, in case you haven't seen them. We had 2 with the release that we just did. I'm going to look and see if I have any stickers. Oh, I do. I got the prototypes. But look, we could do freshly baked blessings. That would be cool. Or we could do bake with love. Let's do freshly baked blessings. I really like that one. Let's use that one. Although, look at this. Kitchen closed, gone crafting. That's funny. I love that sentiment. The back of this paper would look good with this image as well. It doesn't even have to be the whole scene. There we go. Just place, now it doesn't have to be perfectly even because the outside edge is that deco shape, so it's kind of cool. There we go. All right, so I want to put our little bear right over here. And I think I'm going to trim out this little area right here because it's kind of bugging me. Because you guys know I don't like that. It's a personal preference. I know most people don't even notice it, nor do they care, but it bugs me, so I'm going to cut it out. Cute, cute. Remember, it didn't stamp right the first time, so that's what you see on the back, but nobody's going to know that except for you guys because you're watching me. kind of want that to cover up this stuff. Except for I want the flower to be kind of a mess. And then I don't need the herbs, so we're going to cover that up with the flower. She's really cooking up a storm here. And you know, I could put this on the inside. Wouldn't that be cute? Let's do that. Let's decorate the inside. All right, I got me a paper here. Yes, I use all the papers that don't print out correctly for the packaging. For the inside of the card, nobody knows. It's a secret except for you guys who are here hanging out and watching me. And then, I think this is cute. We're going to put this on the inside. I wanted it on the outside, but I changed my mind. We're going to put it on the inside. Like this. And I think on the inside, we're going to stamp, I love you very much. Here we go. You will never tell. Yay! See, my secret's safe with you guys. Where is my ink pad? You know, I've made a mess now. Everything is covered. Here it is. Here it is. I found it. I love this. I love you very much. So cute. And then for the outside, I want to do the sticker because I think the sticker is cool. But look, it's going to look great right there. So they peel off. Super easy. I think I want it to be on this side. Now we didn't even have to stamp to do that. But while I was doing that, I saw this one sticker that I have. And I think I'm going to put that on there. There. Perfect. I love it. Now I'm going to stamp the back because you should always stamp your work. Don't forget, I always say that. You always stamp your work. People got to know who did it. And because I have that image on the inside, it kind of messed up my stamp, so I'm going to fix it. I mean, it's my name, so I can clearly do it. Yeah, all fixed. All right, so here, let's see if we have any bling that'll go with it. My stickers are fun. You like them? I love them. There's going to be more of that to come for sure. Oh, maybe we should put one of these hearts on there. How cute are they? Where's that one I used? There's like an orange one, which is perfect. So cute. That just made it. That's all we needed was that extra little right there at the top. I'm not really thinking I want to put any of this bling on there. I kind of think I like it just the way it is. So no bling. I looked. I didn't really see anything. Color those bears. Color those bears. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to stick with it just like this. So we have this really cool deco border. And this adorable with all the little texture in the little bear that we did at the beginning of the video, which is so helpful. And then we used the stickers and the stamps. And look at how cute that is. Look at how cute that is. And then you open it up and it says, "You're the very best mom. I love you very much." And there you go. That's our card for tonight. That was so fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, like I said earlier, I am going to upload this video to YouTube so you can rewatch it on YouTube, and I will put all the colors that I used in the description along with a link for the stamp set. And be on the lookout for some upcoming events with Doux Designs, and join me back here on Thursday night at 8 Central. I would love to see you guys. Thank you for joining me. Love you guys. Have a great week. Good night.